Hmm.
That's how
Chaotic
you
used
do
the
it.
clicker of the recording in progress on us.
Mhm.
Pavloving us.
Pavloving you to behave, but however, it has not worked yet.
No, never.
More
Behaving
training
is
is
not my
necessary.
forte, I'll be real.
Mhm. Yeah, this
You're
is
not using enough praise. I'm gonna be honest. You could get me to do anything with enough patience
Anything it
and with
takes you to
enough
get up
praise.
there, right?
Yeah. Whatever it takes.
just a bunch of girlies in the call.
Oh.
Uh,
All right, game master
Anyways,
us, daddy. You got this.
Game Master us, Daddy. I need that on a shirt immediately. Quick,
I
someone message Amanda.
I don't make me buy the daddy hat.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
You would fucking rip in that hat.
You absolutely totally would, actually.
It'd be especially funny considering what I've seen you and Irving do on call.
Listen, that
You
would be
wearing that hat during that would be so fucking funny.
yeah. Anyways, I cannot get distracted by looking up for daddy hats. That's
Game
for
time.
that's game time. Uh, Recap of all assignments. Currently on the board, there are three. There is the Dusk Weather, which two of you are heading towards. Well, head towards, and which has two clues. So not too bad, but still you could find more to get like a plus, a little bit of a bonus for that first question. The House of Green Delights. Effectively, two of you have been banned. Um, there's probably one to posters for Zeph and Trinity. Please change your name, Aaron.
Oh, right. I need to do that thing.
Mhm. However, there is four clues to it, so that's pretty good for answering the first question. There's also the Boward Companion, which got introduced last time, which no one has gone investigating, which should be fine. Uh, you still have time. Maybe you'll do another journey scene mid-session today. Who knows?
I have I have a weird question. It's just
Yeah.
because I don't want to get in the fucking car with dear husband again. If say Piper or Trinity head to the same like assignment, could we in theory meet like
Yeah.
even though we didn't travel together?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Effectively, people who go into the same like enter the journey phase end up in the same journey scene. Uh the main reason why it's different for Zeph is because of Dear Husband.
Yeah. Oh no, I've learned. I've learned.
You've learned, yeah.
And that's why I burned the car to the ground. That'll stop that scene from happening ever again. She said, knowing that's incorrect.
I'll just make it worse. You get to elect new end of session questions if you want to.
Do
And
I?
I don't think anyone has a beginning of session moves. I'm not sure if there's really any beginning of session moves in the game now I think of it. Hmm. Who knows? Anyways, what do you all want to do? Piper, you're in the House of Green Lights. On the what floor? It
I
is
am
the
in
fourth.
between floor five
Yeah,
and or 4 and 5.
yeah, 4 and 5.
I also owe a I also owe a verse, I believe.
I do as
Mhm.
well.
Um,
Yes,
I
you
this
owe.
one will not be as intense, but
Yeah, yeah.
it is. Well, I mean, I'm going to establish something. It's important. It's not intense, but it's important.
Yeah, it's important, and it also has a green object in it.
Oh, that's right. It has to have a green object. Okay, let me think about.
Yeah. Uh, and Trinity, you owe me a verse.
I'm pretty sure I should have my first prophecy. It's not marked. Did my stuff not get saved? Because I think I was supposed to have three
Uh,
conditions
uh,
too.
oh yes, it is. It has been marked. I wasn't looking at the verses of prophecy. I was looking at verses of history.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm pretty sure I marked it.
Mhm.
Shall I go first?
Go ahead. I'm looking up the name for something because I forgot to look it up.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. This is a flashback showing the power you felt when a god seemed to listen to you for the first time. And we go into this flashback as Piper is kind of in the stairwell going up to the fifth floor there, and seems to just be following her feet. And we flash back, match cut, focusing on the feet walking, and we see a little girl. It looks like a little girl that could grow up into Piper for sure. And she's walking down the sidewalk, and just kind of humming and feeling very, very lonely. She hasn't seen her mom in a hot minute. And like her mom is always, you know, her mom is always working. And she has a job that takes her traveling all over the place constantly. It's almost like she never stops moving. And it's nice when she gets to see her again, but Piper misses her. And, it's easy to miss someone who's so cool. Her mom seems like I don't know. She's got this motorcycle. She has a very cool job. People seem to know her whenever she goes places, and there's just she misses her mom. And so she's humming a story or a song or something, that she heard somewhere from, another member of her household, all that kind of stuff. And as she's walking along the sidewalk, she finds a bike. It's not her bike, but it's this like kind of perfect military green frame, and it's a mountain bike, and it's sized almost perfectly for her. It looks great actually. So she kind of picks it up and like looks around, sees if there's uh anyone there, and there doesn't seem to be. It doesn't look like any bike that she's seen of any of the other kids on the block and anything. So she just starts riding. And gosh, it feels good. It's so nice to have like the wind in your hair and to just like feel like you have the absolute open freedom to just go wherever the road takes you and to go wherever you want to go. And just like she feels kind of pulled in some direction, and she doesn't know if it's like just the feeling of longing for missing her mother or something else. And so finally she kind of gets lost in the joy of just cycling and feeling the wind rushing by. And it seems that a storm begins to form behind her, but she's kind of heedless of it, and she begins to sing kind of at the top of her lungs as she's biking. She's biking into the country. She's not really paying attention to where she's going, but she sings this song that has been taught to her, and she sings, "Mine voice is strained and whisper worn, mine hoofs are cracked and split, mine wings are tattered and ill torn, my eyes are caked with grit, and yet I arrive before the morn, on your doorstep candle lit." And as she says that, she actually ends up at a motel, and she sees her mom's bike. Her mom's bike is outside, and she's like, wait, just. And she goes up to the door that just seemed to be calling her, that something heard her song, prayer, hymn, the longing in her heart. She felt something else needed to feel that longing and did, and has repaid her devotion with something beautiful. And so, without thinking, she throws the door to the motel door open, and it's unlocked magically. And there she is. It's her mom. And there is someone else with her. And they're not, what is going on? They're not wearing anything. They're not. And she looks away and sees on the ground her mother's jacket, the military jacket, the one with the patches, this badass jacket. And she knows that something's happening that's not hers to understand, but like, still her mom. Her mom's pretty fucking great. She's cool. And she closes the door and gets back on her bike.
That's me? All right. So this lovely, awful verse narrate a flashback to the time you were initiated into the rites of harvest on your family's farm. So we flash back to the Harrow farm, probably when Trinity was in her early teens, before a certain incident described in Zeph's mask, or sorry, Zeph's verse last session. And Trinity's out with her parents by a field of corn, and it's verdant and green, but if you lean closer, the tips have started to yellow and flake off. And Trinity's dad turns to her and says, well, the Crimson Comb has no love for your older sister, so we'll have to teach you what to do next. And Trinity is guided by her father into a large barn where Trinity has assumed they have kept their cattle and such. But when it's opened, it is empty gavages, which, if you're not familiar, are the force feeding tubes they use to make foie gras. And Trinity's dad puts a hand on her shoulder and says, now I'm going to go fetch your brother. You get the harness ready. And so Trinity assists as her brother is strapped to the gavage and she pulls the lever, beginning to fatten him up. And in the distance, we see the red comb of the rooster that's sitting, waiting patiently for its delicious fatty liver.
We are having a normal time in that family.
We're just the most normal family that's ever existed.
Mm-hmm.
Quite typical, in fact.
Quite typical. All right. Back to the House of Green Delights, up to the 5th floor. Vaulted ceiling, crowned with stained glass, green patina skinned statues stand on plinths or fused with walls, their mouths agape in agony, or maybe ecstasy, depending on how you look at it. Living guests listened in rapt fascination to the lessons of a priestess in the front of the room, giving a lecture that seems instructional, the way she gestures with her hands. Green strands of incense smoke waft throughout the room. I paint the scene for everyone. Describe a detail about one or more of the statues that is all you need to know that they were not sculpted, but were in fact living people sacrificed to the love goddess.
I think that there is a statue that is, in fact, two people, a femme facing individual riding on a mask face facing individual, and there are their expressions are incredibly organic and clearly orgasmic.
Fuck you, stabs fuck your face. uh, I think watching said couple is also another statue, fully erect, clearly furiously rubbing one out, and even the ejaculate itself has turned to stone.
In the same vein of that, there is a underneath this couple and everything carved with the same delicate intricacy of the ejaculate being very perfectly carved and fluid and all of that. There is a expanding puddle underneath the couple that, I mean, if it's carved exactly the way a massive growing puddle of blood would be.
Lord have mercy, this chat. I'm glad that's not recorded.
I'm actually deeply sad it isn't recorded. It'd be an enlightening experience for viewers.
Well, take a screenshot of it and put it into
Oh
the
no, I nope.
Discord.
I don't want
And
my
that's
name on it, but it
Yeah,
should
I
be
don't want my name
preserved
on.
somehow.
You only have two options: either save your name or don't share it at all.
That's a big mood.
Anyways, Piper, what do you do?
Um, Piper looks kind of at everything and pulls her jacket on a little tighter. Like the last time she was here, it was this cold. There is something very, very unsettling about it, and she pulls her jacket tighter, and we see, of course, it is the same military jacket that was on the floor, same green jacket on the floor that of the flashback, and she walks forward and knows that I think it's time to talk to the High Dionysian and
Mhm.
and see what's what, because just just the way in the previous scene, Piper has learned to follow sometimes where her feet lead her,
Mhm.
and it's led her up here.
The High Dionysian, no physical mask. Instead, a black streak painted across her eyes, fake wings worn by elastic straps over her shoulders, black choker, brown hair layered over her shoulders, white robes tied at her waist. Love is the stream that washes away our sins. Love is the storm and the eye. Love is the journey and the destination. As she sees you approach Piper, will you join us and partake in the glory of our mistress?
Oh, jeez. See, that's a good question. I see, and I think that perhaps I will. But I think that you and I might need to negotiate just a little bit beforehand. I think that there's a reason. You talk about love being the journey and the destination, but I get that. I think that might be why I'm here. So why don't you tell me why our gods want us here?
Damn, I'm really torn between making this the information move or the revelation move. Because that's a little bit accusatory, a little bit in the tone, I imagine. Because you're
I can soften the tone a little bit. How about
yeah,
this?
yeah.
I'll offer being no, you don't have to you don't have to answer just yet. You can answer
Mhm.
before we do this or after. I'm fine either way. And I
Okay.
begin to take off I take off the jacket and I take off my top and wait for like how are we doing this? How are we doing this?
Uh,
Hi Dionysian,
uh,
like
yeah,
I know how this goes. How are we doing it?
yeah, yeah. I I like that. That is gonna be honestly information move with communion.
Okay, I can do that. I'm into it.
I believe in you.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
I wouldn't go that far. Disadvantage because your reputation precedes you.
Oh damn. Well, I do deserve that. But I think I'll cancel out the disadvantage. Um, because I've got a favor from a competitive queen, from the priestess
Hmm.
at the House of Green Delights in the lower table. I think that the um
Hmm.
maybe the High Dionysian is kind of just like looking at me skeptically, like, listen, you fucked up the last time you were here, and then sees the like the chess pieces and stuff like come out of my roll out of my jacket as I drop it on the floor, and the High Dionysian is like able to see. Oh, okay, hang on. Piper's putting in the work. Piper's been making the rounds, talking to
Hmm.
people. Piper's serious about this,
Hmm.
and I'll do that with 2d6 plus 0 instead of -1.
Mhm.
And here we go. That's a 10.
As a 10,
Hell
I
yeah.
mean, you could, I don't know, bump it up to a 12 plus to get like a conspiracy clue if you want.
Oh, I don't know. Is there somebody who wants me to do that?
I mean, it's just an offer, just to remember that you could always put right verses for more than just a miss.
I guess is there a GM that would be very proud of me if I did that? Um,
It's just a little bit of enticement. If you don't feel like it's a moment, it's not the moment then.
no, I feel like it's the moment. I've just got to pick which one. I'll mark. I'm actually going to doom Piper with this and mark my first verse of prophecy, the
Mhm.
whispered psalm, where I have to narrate a flashback to the first time you received a letter or parcel bearing the writer's stamp.
Also
I'll bump that to a
agree.
12.
Damn, chat is losing it. But we'll cut away from that for now. Trinity, Zeph, you arrive and left the car burning behind you. People in town are a little bit freaking out about that. Someone finds like sort of a fire extinguisher and just like is trying to like put it out. But you can walk away from that no problem. Where are you going?
Um,
Well, Zep at the very least has an outstanding dinner invitation.
yeah, I don't think Trinity ever made it to the house because she got distracted by the mushroom guy.
You gotta look for the mushroom guy again.
I'm gonna try not to read chat is what I'm gonna do.
What?
I said I'm gonna try not to read chat. That's what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Um, I mean Trinity has no social manners whatsoever, so let's crash a dinner party. Why not?
Mhm. We'll move
Also,
forward.
she before the fire gets put out, she's gonna light a cigarette off of the fire.
Fair. We
As
sort
she
of,
should.
yeah. We cut forward into the Skeleton Ranch, into the Skeleton home. It is a two-story of large stone and timber, and inside is pretty cozy, comforting. There is quilts and all sorts of manner of furniture that has been passed through the skeletons through generations. Um, the skeletons are pleased that Zeph has taken up on like their dinner offer and pleased that she is returned unharmed. And they realize for the purpose of her return, of her leaving, for she has brought her sister, and that is very important. Family is the most important relationship you can have. Um, the dining table is a very hard and wooden oaken table. There is a few seats there. There's about 7 seats there. Two have been brought out for you, Zeph and Trinity. One remains empty. Well, technically two, as brother, sister, and cousin skeleton sit in them in their own unique ways. Brother, who has a very wild beard, wild eyes, keeps on looking at you as though you might be as equally as skittish as he might be out in the night. Sister, who is bringing out placing down plates and food, laying out silverware, very methodically placing them. Cousin, who is sort of hunched up in the chair, watching you, uncertain, and sort of a patter of skin hitting floor. You can hear it coming, approaching. Crawling on all limbs. A nest of dirty blonde hair obscures the face, but there's this grin, this toothy maw. But is it this grown man who's in nothing but a diaper? He's just maybe. I paint the scene for everyone. What have the skeletons prepared for dinner?
Think that there is like a cloche that has inside of it like mice and small rodentia and like small birds, things like that. And yeah, they're all pre-killed, but they're not cooked.
I think next to that, potentially the main course is a obviously very lovingly and carefully prepared foie gras.
I'm going to say the grossest thing I can think of, and this is a direct call out to everyone in the UK. Baked beans and toast.
Yeah. Baby crawls up into his chair and just grabs like a fistful of beans and just starts shoving it into like his face.
Trinity's like, well, you're certainly feeding him well, aren't you?
Yes.
Are you making sure he's had his daily cup of the most important morning breakfast? Or sorry, morning meal?
Mm. We
Don't
do.
give cereal to baby.
Are you pulling out cereal to give the baby?
I'm just asking innocuous questions right now, Chaotic. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think Sister's Skeleton was just like the most important meal.
Breakfast, of course.
Oh. And what sort of breakfast do you have? Because we have little crunchy little insects that we like to do, like mealworms.
Oh, I have something that's simply divine. Trinity's going to fuck off, Steph. It was a good fun. You let me have it. Wait till you hear what Sirius called.
Oh, I'll fucking let you have it.
Yeah, it's simply divide, and then Trinity pulls out a box of Deus Chex Munchina. I'll
Mhm.
spell that in chat so y'all can all appreciate it.
Yeah, so I can copy and paste that into the character keeper.
Don't boo me, I'm right.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, let's read your move, shall we?
Sure. Let me just click over to that old tab.
Mhm. When you offer a side treat to a side character in any situation, roll with presence or vitality.
Yeah, it's gonna be presents for me.
Mhm.
And I think also the way I presented this is very present. I think vitality is eat this fucking cereal.
Yeah, and I think surprisingly enough that you won't get disadvantage on for your conditions.
Let's go. Praise him.
Mhm.
Praise Sweet
Sweet,
Jolly Crunch Tooth.
Sweet Jolly Crunchtooth does not care for matters of love. Surprisingly enough.
All right. 2d6 plus uno. Can I get? Are you fucking kidding me?
Mhm.
I
What?
rolled snake eyes. It's a 3.
It's a 3.
I am the worst ambassador for Sweet Jolly Crunch Tooth that's ever lived. I've not made this roll a single time. No one wants my shitty cereal.
Mhm.
I'm getting fired.
Yeah, probably. Let's see. What? Hmm. As you are feasting on this, there is a knock at the door. Do, 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 do. I think uh I think I think Brother Skeleton gets up very like eyes wide, like looking at you because like he was not expecting more company. I think he answers it. And you could overhear the conversation. Why, yes, hello. I've come on behalf of delivering some very good news about sort of recently. We understand about like sort of your property and how it's not been taken care of properly. And well, we are doing a little bit of a census currently under the behalf of dear husband. Might I be invited into your household to such so that everything is being maintained properly? And I think before like a brother could like slam the door because like he does not trust outsiders, like this guy just sort of like pushes his way in, making his way towards the room where everyone's at, and just you could see like this very plainly dressed man, like in a white button collared shirt tucked into black pants with a sort of a clipboard as one would hold a Bible for those Mormon missionaries. Uh,
Black name tag. You got to make sure
yeah, black name tag.
in the dress shirt pocket. Black name
Yeah.
tag.
Mm-hmm.
Has silverware been laid out on this table out of
Yes.
curiosity? Trinity palms a butter knife.
All right. So there is one, two, three, several members of the household, and you don't look like the rest of them. So, guest. Um, um, you look like a little bit of a standout. Yes. Might I ask your sort of occupation, because I've been sort of informed that what is it? The skeletons are ranchers. But however, you have a similar attire, but not quite the same. Nor there's any familiar resemblance. What's what you might be doing around here? Census. Just making sure that families are all in order.
I'm adopted, actually.
God, make the make God, I'm because he's on behalf of dear husband. I'm gonna say this is gonna be the revelation move. What are you afraid might happen?
Okay, I was originally gonna go with the obvious one, but this seems more fun. The skeletons are going to happily adopt me, and that's bad. Like that is the worst case scenario. They're going to happily adopt me into their family.
It's worse than that. I think just this lie is enough to give him an excuse to write you as a member of the skeleton families. Not only you are adopted, you will become a skeleton, and you will not be, and your past history with Seth will just be erased.
That is the most evil shit you've ever done, chaotic. How dare you?
Yeah, the worse than that, it stops being incest.
Yeah, it's worse than it stops being incest. Okay. Well, I presume that's going to be with my shit ass communion, and
Yeah.
I presume disadvantage as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do I have anything to negate this? Hold on. I don't think I have any that's gonna be applicable. I think I'm doomed.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to just roll this at disadvantage. That's what's gonna have to happen.
I mean, you could back down and just like flee.
That's not no. Trinity would never. How do I? There we go. 2, 3, low. Get the lowest 2. -1. I'm sure this is gonna be a great roll that I'm just gonna crush. Hey, you know what? It was not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. It's still a 6 though.
Still like 6. Before we go on break, we see the scene of the door knocking, Zeph quite suddenly excusing herself from the table to lock herself into the bathroom. Trinity, you having this very awkward conversation. And it's like, of course, you've always been a skeleton. You were adopted into your family. These are your kin. There is no one else. You do have a guest over.
I am 100% Mark Universe.
And with that, we'll go on break.
But one person in the call is Pavloved.
Mhm. And after you got that, you did what a good girl does and wrote a verse.
All right.
I was fucking drinking chaotic.
All right, I'll be good.
Mhm. Mhm. Let's get you that clue, shall we? I think you are given an apple to bite down and sort of offer a communion before getting talked to. It is perfect red apple, but as you take a bite from it, the edges of the bite are marked bleed green. But as I don't have the right thing open, bye. You you're not the first to come here today that does not fully imbibe in our faith. For there has been another. For this is a fortuitous chime of joining of faiths together, merging, connecting, loving one another. For we were offered a gift, and you are known to us. So we shall tell you this gift. We shall show it to you. And I think what it gets brought forth to you is a gilded heron skull. It's it is golden, it is beautiful, it is a little bit out of place in terms of gifts because like there's not there's gods related to birds and whatnot, and there's gods of wealth and whatnot, but nothing really combining the two, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I'll hold it and kind of like look
Yeah.
at it in confusion. Just be like, "Hi, Dionysian, I don't recognize this. I don't recognize this. Some
Hmm.
new kind of god."
I we do not believe it is a representation of a god truly, but rather not one of the main view, nor one that is celebrated by a community, but a very personal type of faith one would find into the family. A name was offered from the Sketteridge family.
I've heard. I mean, you know me. I've been all over, and I've met all kinds of people and companies and gods and faiths, and you know, the endless rider delivers for all. But
Mhm.
I've never heard of the Skitterich.
They are kind lots. but they are very, very private. Maybe you will connect with them in due time, as we have
Hopefully.
connected with them.
Hopefully it'll be as pleasant as the connecting you and I
Mhm.
are doing.
Yes. And I will note that you are currently at 5 clues for the House of Green Delights. Would you all like to, I don't know, maybe answer a question?
I would, because
Yeah.
I think I have a rock solid theory,
Mm-hmm.
or at least a rock solid answer to this question in particular.
Yeah.
Um. All right, so uh, I am pretty sure that the answer to this question of where in the house is the mayor's daughter being hidden, I
Mm-hmm.
think the answer is right up here on the 5th floor.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I think that is the red apple. Sorry, am I jumping? Should I let everyone else? Am I
No, go for
It's
it.
it seems that they are distracted in chat.
cool? Um, very important things to be paying attention to, though. Incredibly,
Exactly.
Mhm.
newsworthy even. Okay, so the red apple that is comes from right up here was offered to us here. It bleeds that same green that the prayer marks and everything on the billboard were written on. Um,
Mhm.
and I feel like those two things being connected in the way that they are does seem to imply that the High Dionysian knows not only knows exactly where our missing person is, but that she's being hidden right up here. It's and it potentially not even a it's not even like a coercion kind of thing. I think that that most everybody might know, at least in the organization or in the faith might know, because as that bell is tolling, all of them are looking up at the 5th floor.
Mhm.
Not only just to the bell, but because they know where the chiming is coming from, and I think they know why.
Mm. I suppose like a more precise question I would have is how how would you get into like the room in which uh the mayor's daughter is in, because like it's a like with the second question is implied like there is like a specialized chamber. So
I think it is like a room off to the it's like the private ritual chamber off to the
mhm.
side of the High Dionysian's like official office kind of place.
Ah, okay.
And like the whole 5th floor is like ceremonial and has all this stuff, but I think that like it's specifically that you must go through the High Dionysian to get to where
Mhm.
Jessica, is that her name?
Yeah.
Jessica, yes, where Jessica is currently being hidden.
All right. Any other comments or questions?
No, I fuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And with 3 clues, that is a +1, right?
Yep, that was +1.
All right. 2d6 +1. Here we go. That's an 11. Wow,
Ooh.
I'm hot on the rolls today.
Does this game use the rule the skinny jeans rule of like using the the threat verse or the assignment verse counts as bumping it up?
I will check. I don't think so because like I think that particular idea gets uh
Yeah, I think it was
uh
introduced after Silt
yeah,
verses, so I don't know that
yeah.
it would be.
I as a personal matter, I will allow it just because like that's just a very cool idea to make sure like the threat verse does get used since two of you have been banned from this assignment effectively. So unless Piper
Kicked out of the
wants
Trinity did
club.
nothing wrong.
unless Piper wants to like use it for something else.
Um, you know what? Maybe that's perfect. I'm just gonna
Hmm.
be oops all verses today then.
Yeah. All right. I didn't copy over the verse of the bottle bonfire, which is
Wow.
yeah. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm terrible keeper.
History's
But
greatest monster.
yeah, but each custodian narrates a time they did something destructive to themselves or someone else in the name of love. And by its nature of being in the House of Green Delights, it you have to do green stuff to it. Have I killed Kyle? Maybe.
No, well, I I know the correct answer for this. You know what? It doesn't need it. This is a sign. I should let go of my desire for control and go with the flow. I haven't introduced the thing about the backstory yet, but we're gonna fuck with it. This is gonna be so painful. Yeah, let me just double check our tags, our lines and veils, just to be sure. All right, we're good. I can do that. I can do that verse now if we want.
I'm here to hear it.
I'm looking forward to the lore.
Okay. um, we cut to a hospital room, and you know it's a hospital room because of the whining sound of the lights specifically. Everything's kind of that sickly, washed out, too white, too bright. Uh, LED is not the word that I'm looking for. I can't remember the those types of lights.
Fluorescent.
Fluorescent, exactly. Um, which makes the green of the child's like outfit that is sitting in the medical bed, like it makes it pop in a way that it shouldn't, because it's supposed to be a dull, flat, um, calming green, but it's not, and it stands in stark contrast to the way that the light sets off the military green jacket that Piper is wearing as she sits next to this hospital bed. And the child, Piper looks slightly older than she does now. Not a ton, but slightly older than she does now. And she is trying to um, she's trying to comfort the child in the bed. It's a child who uh, looks like she could be Piper's daughter. Um, and she's saying, "No, no, sweetheart, I promise it's going to be all right. We've caught it early. We've been taking care of you." And she says, "Mom, you haven't. Yeah, where have you been, sweetheart? I've been making deliveries. I've had to make. You know, Mom, I'm. Do you understand? I threw up the way that I threw up the other day at school in front of everyone, and then collapsed in it. Do you understand?" And Piper says, "Honey, I know, and I rushed home as soon as I could, as soon as I got the call. I'm not always in places where I'm not always in places where you can call me. I can't have a cell phone, I can't. Mother, I don't. How long am I going to be in here?" And Piper's heart breaks, and she says, "Sweetheart, I know that it the diagnosis is not good. I've been trying to talk to the doctors and get a better estimate, but I don't know what they're trying to. Mother, why? You ride a motorcycle. Why can't you just make them listen to you? What the fuck is wrong with you, Mom? Why aren't you here for me?" And she breaks down. And Piper just holds her. And she says, "Sweetheart, I'm doing my best. I know it's not good enough yet, but I want you to know you've carried this with you for far too long, and I'm gonna set it right, okay? I promise you, sweetheart, I'm going to set it right. You won't have to carry this anymore. I'll carry it for you. I'll find a way. I'll carry it for you." And our daughter just turns over and just says, "Fine, whatever. I know you have to go." And Piper leaves and grabs one of the doctors, like literally grabs him, and says, "I need you to tell me exactly where in her body that cancer is. If you don't tell me exactly where it is, I will grind you with the back of my fucking motorcycle into dust. Do you understand me?" And the doctor freaks out and is scrambling for the medical chart. It's scrambling. There's a short scene. He's explaining things to her, showing her pictures, showing her the x-rays, showing her all of these things. And after a while, Piper comes back while her daughter is asleep. And she's in there for about 45 minutes. And when she comes out, she is carrying something with her, which that's her job. She's always carrying something. And then we cut to another week, comes back. She comes in for her visit, and her daughter, healthy, bright. "Mom, I don't know what happened. I can't find it anymore. Sweetheart. Sweetheart, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah, they said it was like, it just gone. Well, I'm glad, sweetheart. You don't have to carry it alone. I'm glad you don't have to carry it. Are you doing okay, Mum? Sweetheart, I'm just happy to see. I'm just happy to see you alive. And we cut there.
Damn. All right. Aaron, do you have one yet?
I actually have a twofer.
Oh
I can,
boy.
yeah, I can do both my verses IO because they're gonna tie into each other. All right, so we'll do the I'm sorry, I forgot the name of it. It had a fancy name.
The verse of the bottled bonfire.
Yes, the verse. I can talk. I can do words. I'm so good at words. That one. So, this is not too shortly after Trinity's been inducted in her family's rights, and despite their recent sacrifice of her older brother, they're still fallow. Their herds are getting thinner. Everything's going bad. So, one more time, her dad comes to Trinity and says, I think it has to be your sister this time. Trinity nods enthusiastically and then slips off to make a phone call to a certain corporation to let them know what's going on. And shortly afterwards, the unbranded Sweet Jolly Crunch Tooth trucks pull up to the farm, which will lead me into my second verse. The Sweet Jolly Crunch Tooth agents, we'll call them, corporate employees, dispatch the Crimson Comb rather quickly in the way you do most roosters and chickens, cutting its head off. It runs through their field, its blood spraying everywhere, and everything it touches fully dies, whether it being plant or animal. Meanwhile, Trinity slips away while this scene unplays and finds the one fertilized egg that the Crimson Comb left behind and pockets it and hides it even from her sister. And Kyle just realized what that ties into now. That's me.
All right. Well, I guess that leaves me then. So, I think that we immediately smash cut from that scene to a version of this home that is more run down, less cared for. The same one that we saw in the flashback where Trinity and Zeph killed their parents. And the parents are nowhere to be seen, so this is clearly after that fact. And we see Trinity tied to a bed. And Zeph is standing in the room with a I think it's like not quite a scalpel, it's more like an X-Acto knife. And I think that we see Zeph kind of approaching, and she puts her hand on Trinity's head and begins stroking her hair and says, Trinity, this I know this hurts, but we have to do this. There's no other way. And I think that as Zeph says that, Trinity is probably struggling a little bit, and Zeph gets down on her knees and still uh, stroking Trinity's hair with her free hand. And I think uh, we see Zeph begin to uh, she cuts off a strip of fabric from her own shirt and puts it in Trinity's mouth and says, "You're going to want to bite down on something." And I think we see the camera cuts, and it seems to be the next day. Trinity's not tied down anymore, and she has uh, a freshly stitched wound on the side of her abdomen. And in the room that this happened in, there is pinned to the wall a large green root that is coated in blood and looks to be reaching out toward anything that it possibly can.
All right. Cutting away from that. The lie for now, Trinity, is believed. But this individual keeps on going on about being so important for families, maintaining order, proper like heads of households, proper marriages, and just going on and on about the dear, dear husband. Like, you can tell this individual is looking for someone. This individual is looking for your sister. What do you do? Except you're in the bathroom, so if you want to do anything from there, you can.
Yeah. I think that Zeph is specifically going to wait until she hears this person sort of like in front of the door to the restroom. And then she is going to very quickly unlock the door and slam it open as hard as she can, hoping to knock the person straight unconscious.
Oh, okay. Since this is just physical violence with a person, I don't think like the dear, dear husband is getting invoked right now. So it's going to be a failed move. Um, I'm unfortunately I'm still going to give you disadvantage because like of the previous like mixed results because like this person is specifically looking for you.
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
what are you afraid might go wrong?
Uh, I'm afraid that they're not going to be knocked out immediately and that they're going to see that it was Zeph that did this in particular. And then word will obviously get back to her husband.
Mm-hmm.
And I doubt he'll be pleased. Um,
This is going to be with vitality.
Excellent. I think. Hmm.
I I really don't know what you're going to use your altar items for.
I have an idea. I think to ensure that the person is standing directly in front of the door, Zeph is going to take one of her condoms off of the roll and slide it under the door so that the person gets distracted by it and maybe bends down to pick it up, putting their head in direct pathway of the door swinging open.
Okay.
Seems legit.
Mhm.
Well, that's 10.
As 10. Distraction condom.
Pocket condoms. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think I'm going to mark a verse to bump it to a 12.
Which verse are you marking?
I am going to mark your favorite verse and do the Whispered Psalm.
Oh, goody.
And I can do that now if you want.
I would love to see you do it now.
All right. So I think as the door is swinging open,
Mhm.
uh, it the scene immediately transitions from the open door into a different door opening, a door in a sort of backwoods religious site. It's not quite a church. It's more of a. It looks more like a home than a church, sort of like a backyard wedding, perhaps. And we see the camera is in effectively first person perspective opening the door. We see Zeph standing beneath an archway in a beautiful flowing wedding gown with a an incredible like silk veil over her face. And as the camera moves, we see it sort of shake a little bit with each footstep toward the altar. And the one of the HOA members is playing an organ. The other HOA members are sitting in folding lawn chairs faced toward the archway. And we see beneath the veil a horrified expression on Zeph's face as the camera continues to approach her, and eventually taking its place on the altar next to her, facing towards Zeph. And the camera sort of flies towards Zeph and turns to look, and she sees her father's skin. And I think we can see the camera gets a little bit cloudy and filled with water at the bottom. And we hear soft sobbing from around the camera. And I think that her uh, her husband, wearing her father's skin, reaches out and parts the veil and sort of strokes her cheek and says, "I thought this would be comforting for you. It would be familiar." And I think Zeph is just still quietly sobbing. And we see one of the members of the HOA approach the altar with a large, like ceremonial athame that is glowing in this very strange light, this bright, thickly green emanating off of it. And the dear husband begins to speak his vows. To you, I will remain forever faithful. I will protect you. I will guard you. I will provide for you as a husband should. I will have your side. I will always be with you. And I think through broken sobs, Trinity nods and looks to the HOA members who are all staring at her incredibly expectantly. And she says, I vow to always be yours and to love you and keep your home and raise your children like a wife should. And her father's skin breaks into a rictus grin. We can see that glowing white light kind of pouring out of the mouth. And he holds his hand out for the athame, and the officiator kneels down, presenting it with both hands. So the dear husband takes it and cuts his palm open with it, the skin of her father. This light pours out of the palm, and then he moves forward, grabs Zeph's wrist rather forcefully, pulling it up toward himself, and makes a cut on her palm as well, and immediately grabs her hand with his cut hand, and we see this energy begin to transfer into Zeph, this bright white light that is flowing from the dear husband's hand into Zeph's wound. And we can tell this is happening because before, Zeph's eyes were a deep brown, but now they are her irises have become stark glowing white. And as this happens, the grin never leaves his face, and he says, I do. And she, crying, now the tears are bright white and flowing down her face with the glow of her husband. And she says, I do. And then we turn around. The HOA members all stand, give a standing ovation, cheering, hooting, and hollering. And the camera pans slightly up to see a row of people all hanged on a telephone pole with wedding bouquets stuffed in their mouths.
A final question. Can you even begin to name all of those people?
I think she can name them. I'm not going to go into what the names are, but she knows what they are because these are all of the people that were in her life before this marriage. These are all of the people that she had made friends and connections with, save for Trinity. Because Trinity is under the protection of a large god.
Mm-hmm. And so the second half of your wedding vows is unlocked. The traditional vow, because Zeph brought some more modern vows to the wedding, is as follows. In my faith, I give myself to you. In my love, you have my body. In my mind, you know all of my thoughts. I pledge these to you. In your name, we shall become one. But you got a 12 plus. Congratulations. I think you, as like this HOA member bends down to like pick up the condom. Just the head gets slammed, knocked over to be instantly out cold. Uh, just really terrible. I think like there is shock and like the skeletons are sort of poking at the unconscious form of this member, unsure whether or not is it food or not.
Trinity can answer that question because Trinity is going to mount the unconscious man and start carving him up with the butter knife.
I think Zeph just watches silently.
Mm-hmm. I think this is probably a clue for the Dusk Mother. Uh, the skeletons do not eat normal food.
Trinity's such a good guest, she brought a dish to share.
Mm-hmm. Terrible. God. Cutting away from that grisly scene, Piper, you know where Jessica is. You just need to figure out how to get Jessica out here. Perhaps it would be best to see Jessica.
I think so. Since we bumped the like solving the question roll to a
Mhm.
12,
Yes.
I'm trying to remember exactly what happens there.
It basically means that the conspiracy has deep ties into like this resolution of the assignment.
Oh,
It's already been really heavily implied that like this the uh the
Skitteridge?
Skitteridge is or have made contact already, so it's like, oh yeah, Skitteridge and the House of Green Delights real tight. So
Oh. Um, I think like we've gone through the whole like song
mhm.
and dance. You know how you're supposed to properly greet the High Dionysian. Like we
Yep.
are, uh I think that maybe I start to put my military jacket back on and the High Dionysian stops me and so I don't, you know.
Mhm.
But I think that as I'm holding the the golden bird skull, I think it
Yeah.
begins to like hop a little bit in my hand
Mhm.
because I'm carrying something. And carrying things is what is Piper's job. And I think it
Yeah.
wants to go somewhere. And I'm
Mhm.
starting to get the feeling that I should be following my feet again.
Mhm.
And I say, right, hi Dionysian. I think it's time you tell me what you've got right over there and that room. Our mutual friend, I don't know, that seems quite keen. I think I might be keen to see what's in there too.
Of course. I do not want to invoke the ire of the relentless rider, for you shall always arrive at your destination. She leads you through her office to the off chamber. There is thorns in the handle even and she just bears the pain of gripping it, turning it. Blood drips from her hand as the door opens off to the side room to the chrysalis chamber. More of these thorny, flowering creepers along the walls. Overwhelming smell of flowers, tokens of love and written prayers hanging on the walls. Resting on the dais, an incomplete chrysalis that looks as though it was made of a material somewhere between an opaque glass or silk. Hoses from the walls pump emeraldine liquid and gas into it directly. Jessica is inside. I paint the scene for everyone. What remnants of the love cult's most ancient practices tells you that underneath it all, this was once about people innocently seeking true love?
I think even with like the modern parts of this ritual in this room with the hoses and pumps and all these things connected to the cocoon and like there's definitely a more industrial modern vibe to it, but even in that, the wires, the cords, the pumps, all of these things, there is something about them, the way that they are braided and tangled together, that seems to remind you, no matter how you look at it, of two hands, other people's hands, two people's hands joined together, just holding each other's hands together. And it's in everything. It's almost even more horrible that way because all it was want people who wanted to be together. And now we see that desire perverted in every possible cord, cable, everything.
Uh, Building off what uh, Kyle just said, I think the cords and the wiring have been tied together with almost origami style pieces of paper that were confession letters for people like to give to their beloved partners and such. Whether it was like adolescents, slipping one in the locker, or an adult writing a letter.
I think that there are several hearts carved into the wall, each with initials inside of them. J plus M, S plus F, things along those lines.
Mm-hmm. Piper, it's very clear that whatever is happening in here, Jessica can't just be easily removed from the machine. You have to do this carefully. So, but you really don't know how yet. But you could investigate if you want.
Yeah, I think hmm, I I kind of want to um see if I can uh I want to like study this and I want the time to study it, so I'm gonna almost try and see if I can get the High Dionysian monologuing a little bit about it.
Mhm.
Um while I have an eye for like symbols of stuff just because it's always important to know whose turf you're traveling through. And so I'm gonna like be very, very like deliberate about the way that I observe this room while I
Mhm.
try and keep the High Dionysian talking.
Ooh, that's an interesting approach. I'm gonna say this is an information move with focus.
Hell yeah. I was hoping for either focus or insight.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah, it's like from a calm disposition and intense concentration.
And I think that, oh no, it would be weird to say that I've been carrying my helmet with me the whole time. Um,
Yeah, I don't
I'm
think the
just,
mace is gonna help though.
the mace is not going to help either. There's no way. Um, I think I'll roll it flat as long as you are okay with that and don't think that my conditions apply.
Yeah, I'll have it flat. I'll
Okay.
agree to that.
And it's just the information move. It is going to
Mhm.
be fine. Holy shit, it was actually fine. Okay, I rolled an 11 plus 1 on focus. That's another 12.
Mhm.
I love how I went from a 30 session between campaign to speed running Silt versus.
Yes.
This the the Silk versus is somehow just better luck. Also just naturally shorter because of how the conspiracy is set up.
Oh my goodness.
I think as you're going about the room, getting the high priestess to monologue just about the sort of nature of this room, about how it provides a sort of new saint for for Bright Feather, because, well, frankly, it, that all gods need servants of the kind. The lady and gossamer queen, Madame Malachites, the forlorn fairy, my darling chartreuse, for she has a court of many people, many followers, and love saints. Well, we're entering a new era of time, and therefore new love will blossom and bloom. But something you do notice.
As she says that, can I interject with something?
Sure.
Hi, Dionysian. You're trying to unify the Linger Straits in the peninsula. You're trying to create someone who can perfectly join the two sides together. The mayor's daughter of Nesh, here, the perfect love saint, head of a court of love and power. You're
Mm-hmm.
trying to. This is an admirable goal.
Yes, we. Yes, it is because, well, the world has suffered so much. Does it really need any more suffering? Does it need any more war? No. Peace is found through love and devotion.
As the High Dionysian says that, I'm going to nod and very slowly slip my hand into theirs and grasp it tightly, just as like a moment of connection and comfort and love.
Mm-hmm. I think man, that's gonna change the clue. I think despite it all, despite this moment of connection, a god must feed. A god is hungry. And even a god of love has its propensity for violence. You see off in the corner, sort of covered with a little bit of a blanket to provide some comfort, but still a crumbled heap of a body. They have been gored by horns and beaten to a pulp, so their face is unrecognizable. A discarded mask lies nearby. And yet you have this meaningful connection. Perhaps I can offer you a phone number. If you really, really want to make connections. The Skedridge family, they are from the peninsula. That is our connection. That is how we're driving it forward. Because by ourselves, the House of Green Delights cannot reach on over. Not innocently enough. The High Dionysus is really close to you now.
High Dionysian, if I call them, do you think they'll have something that you or them needs delivered to someone to represent and carry your message for you?
Yes, I believe so. Something always needs to be carried.
High Dionysian. Then my answer is, let's ride. And I'm going to pull her down on top of me.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to ride and go again next to this corpse on the floor and in this chamber.
Terrible chat.
This isn't even memeing. I thought that was implied.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I think with that, somehow we're gonna end the session with Piper fucking another side character.
Fucking another side character for the second time that day.
Yeah, in the same assignment.
Yeah.
I have seduced the High Dionysian so that I can get a job.
Mhm.
It's just like being a woman instead.
Stars and wishes.
Oh, before we do, I have a thingy real quick because I took a new move, and it triggered, and I forgot I had taken the new move. So, may I indulge?
Yes.
Okay. So I took brand new angel flavor. You have access to a private facility where new cereal flavors are developed and accrued working knowledge of how to transmute traces of divinity into experimental recipes. Testing such recipes requires trial and error, however, and you must frequently harvest new supplies for your experiments. When you complete an assignment or roll a hit on the revelation move, add one god flesh fragment to your altar. You may mark it to create a new flavor of cereal. When you consume it to test its effects, roll with communion on a 10 plus. It works without further cost. Choose the effect, and then 7 to 9, it works imperfectly, choosing a complication as well. So, technically, because I bumped it up, I rolled a hit on the revelation move. So I got some god flesh from that HOA piece of shit.
Yeah.
Nom nom
Yeah.
nom.
Yeah, definitely probably around like the moment where like he got knocked out and it's just like laying on the floor, just not being able to do it. Also, you carving up
You
his
did
actual
carve
flesh.
him up.
Yeah.
Like
Yummy
you get your
tasty, yummy
choice of the
tasty.
cuts. Whichever cut you want, you got.
Yeah.
Liver is the healthiest part.
Ah!
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
There's so much liver horror this session.
Oh my gosh.
It's like been exclusively livers.
Listen, you make one foie gras reference, and then it's just all over the place.
Honestly, this is just like such a good encapsulation of what I love about CFB games. Because everyone's being like, oh, I'm going to throw this thing from my backstory. I'm going to throw this thing as a clue or a paint the scene. And suddenly anything that like latches on, other players latch onto, it's just like, it's a callback, bitch. It's a callback, bitch. And it's just like, oh, it's so good. And it's just designed to do that. It's like good TV writing, but by design and improv.
Yeah, it fucking rips.
Shit. It's good.
Yeah, I'll start with Stars and Wishes. For Chaotic, I really enjoyed, like, for one, Baby. He's Baby. He really is Baby. And I hate him. I want to shake that baby. Yeah, good job. We saw him very briefly, and that brief moment is all I needed to know that this fucking man is my mortal enemy, and I wish nothing but harm upon him. I hate Baby. Which also means I love Baby. So good job with that. Big fan of the voice he gave him. Yeah, that was a wish that I had in the first session. Is like, I can't wait to hear how Chaotic plays Baby. And now I have. And it's good. And I hate it. So thanks. For Aaron, I really love how, like, not necessarily in sync all of our flashbacks are, but very, like, you know, they're all clearly interlinked, which makes sense since they're siblings. But I really enjoy this, like, the themes that we're both exploring with these and how they, like, very clearly connect to one another into the bigger picture of why these two sisters are so fucked up and, like, incestuous. Like, it's... Shut the fuck up, Kyle. Don't say that in the chat. You can't say that. He does not have triple D's. Anyways. Fuck, what was I saying? That that completely killed me.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I do that to everyone else, so it's only fair. Um anyways, uh yeah, I love the themes that we're playing around with and the like our ability to just kind of coexist in that space and be comfortable with the weird shit that we're inflicting on one another's characters retroactively. Like, I think that's really great. The whole like thing about their dad saying like the fucking our god does not like your sister, and which implies also that the original plan was probably for Zeph to be doing that to Trinity, which is fucked. And yeah, it's fucked up and evil, and I love it. Um, and yeah, for Kyle, I really fucking digged all of your flashbacks this session. Uh, it was like the the cancer one was so fucking good. Like that was so touching and tragic and like clearly such a double-edged sword for I think both Piper and her kid. Like I feel like it might be explored in the flashbacks. But I feel like if Piper's kid ever finds out, then she's going to leave. Like she's gonna become estranged from Piper because of that, I think. Like that is what that feels like to me. Like that is there's such a deep, profound rage that comes with someone sacrificing themselves for you, especially someone that you care for. And I think most of the time that rage is just overpowers the sacrifice itself because especially if it's unasked for like that. Like that is such an invasion of bodily autonomy, truly. Like that is making a decision about someone's body for them without consulting them and then trying to hide it. Like that is it's a clear act of love, but it is done in such a fucked up and subtle way, like a subtly fucked up way. It's like really well done. I'm excited to see how much further that goes, and to see if my hunch is right, and that the daughter does get estranged from Piper and does like go no contact, and see like the effects that has on Piper, and be able to like retroactively kind of piece things together from that. Like I'm really excited about it. Especially considering how like Piper so far in the story kind of treats her motorcycle like a child, like almost like it's a replacement for her kid. Like I'm really excited to see all of those themes get explored. As far as wishes go, I'm excited that Piper is soloing the House of Green Delights. Like holy shit, she's such a badass. I'm excited to see where that assignment ends up. I'm also really excited to get a couple more clues for the Dusk Mother and start answering questions for that. And I'm also I'm excited to eventually start exploring the Boward Companion, I think is what it is. Um, yeah, like that'll probably be what I get up to in the next session, especially because I'm going to need to clear the condition I got for not going on a journey scene, which I need to mark down before I forget.
Speaking of not forgetting, end of session questions.
Oh yeah, we should do that.
We did not complete an assignment. Gods, angels, or other divine manifestations. I'm gonna say no on Trinity and Zeph. You just managed to miss it with the HOA member. For Zeph? No, not Zeph. Piper. Yes. I'm not sure. Not quite.
I
Probably.
feel like I don't know. This might be a little far fetched, but I feel like Piper did just by the nature of communing directly with that god's like spokesperson, right? Like
That's
that is the mouthpiece of that god,
Not
and
only that,
Piper mouthpieced that god too.
I
So
mouthpieced that god twice. One in a ritual sense of
Mhm.
like this is just how we start business, and two in a hey, I want this, and that's what my god, like,
Yeah.
as well as I
Um,
was invited into a divine ritual in progress, like
okay.
to view a divine ritual in progress.
Okay. I will give you that then.
Yeah.
Uh, Trinity, were you vulnerable with someone?
Trying to think. Not really, no. I mean, carving up the HOA person in front of her sister was a very symbolic vulnerability, but I think Zeph's probably just used to that from her at this point.
Yeah, you've done it before. I wouldn't
Yeah.
count it as vulnerable.
definitely.
It's
Yeah.
old hat.
Uh, did you deliver a monologue? No.
No,
Not really.
I got close to it with talking about the importance of breakfast, but then I ate shit on the roll. I
Yeah.
ate shit on that roll again.
Yeah. Uh, you should just give your breakfast to your fellow sister and just like have her just be jolly
She
all the
doesn't
time.
want she doesn't want to feed that to her sister.
Um,
There are other things she wants her sister to eat.
That's correct.
uh,
Exactly. Like her
Piper,
cake.
I'm so disappointed in myself.
Piper, did you undermine the orders of your superiors or use the assignment to pursue personal interests? You're just fucking your way through this assignment at this point. Just mark it.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, did you go out of your way to connect with the local community? Yeah,
I'd
community
say
with this
that
guy.
was
We
connecting
connected
all
several
right.
times. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah. We gotta go with this specific session though.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it did happen.
uh, Zeph, were you vulnerable with someone?
I don't think so. I think she
Uh,
kind of like explicitly locked herself in the bathroom instead of being vulnerable.
mm-hmm. Did you struggle with your personal faith? Yeah,
I would say so. Fucking knocking out the HOA member is a more literal struggle than perhaps the question is asking.
yeah. Just fist fighting, your faith. Yeah,
We all go through it.
we all got through it. Marker XP.
Yeah. Now everyone else do stars and wishes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can go. So this will be similar to Steph's because I'm just gonna start the same thing because we're both sort of doing this. We're reservoir dogging like our backstories. Where like they are very out of order, and the more that comes out, the worse it just gets. Like everything's so much worse than like it seems at first. It's like, well, as the old adage says, it's worse than that. Every time it's worse than that. And then once you see the whole timeline, it's like, oh, barf. I want to barf my mouth right now. No wonder that this bad. Not that we've gotten the full timeline yet, obviously. For chaotic, I obviously also hated baby, but the thing I want to star for is the deep dread of that consequence for the revelation move, where I was going to lose the connection that I had with Zeph. I was like, there is nothing worse in the world, the Trinity than this right now in this moment. It was truly, I was truly in a panic for that role, and congrats. That doesn't happen often to me. And I'm like, let's see what happens. And I was like, oh God, please don't let me fail. And of course I did, but that's what verses are for. Awful verses. For Kyle, God, that fucking verse was brutal. Um, that was real brutal. Um, but yeah, big star for literally. I've been putting in chat. You're fucking your way through an assignment, and that to me is the funniest fucking thing in a Silt versus game. It's like I know how to handle these rogue deities. Well, fuck them. Brilliant, brilliant.
Bounce on it
Wishes.
crazy style.
He's not called the Endless Rider for nothing.
Oh fuck. Wishes. Let's see. I'm looking forward to seeing more of the fucked up like because this is so like a weird spot for Zeph and Trinity because we obviously come from a deeply fucked up family, and here is this fucked up family that we're hanging out with, and I'm very curious to see how that's all gonna play out while we deal with whatever their fucking deity is. Um, yeah, that's my wish to see more of the skeletons and the probably awful parallels that exist to our own family.
Yeah.
I don't think any other wishes. This was a really great, a great session in a very awful way, and I'm looking forward when people watch it, and I get DMs about how much they hate dear husband and what's wrong with you, Aaron. And by people, I mean my partner.
I'll go next. I there's a lot to star. Aaron specifically, I'm going to star Deus Chex Munchina, which
I do have to give credit where credit is due. All the cereal puns are from my partner, Samantha, who watches this.
well, star to your partner, star to you for your delivery. That made me that delighted me and made me die inside in equal measure in a way that, is very much like par for the course for this group, but still extremely enjoyable. Deus Chex Munchina, I just as well as the absolutely unhinged energy of just like, oh well, yeah, now I carve him up. um, oh, and the fucking reveal about the chicken. Jesus Christ, I'm not. I've got to. I'm gonna take all the stars if I do that. I'm sorry. Um, Steph, Zeph's verses were horrifying and terrible today. The wedding and having dear husband wearing your dad's skin was particularly distressing in a way that is just so perfect for this game. The like themes of everyone's characters and backstories and faiths and everything is just so perfect. Like like I said earlier, it feels like really good TV writing, and it's improv, and I just feel like we are kind of nailing it. Especially Piper is nailing it. Just also, I loved the distraction concept, a distraction condom in the vein of Pocket Sand, and just like absolute, just the willingness to absolutely choose violence is just so perfect. It's so good. Um, and then chaotic. I my skin crawls when you have the missionaries of the HOA and dear husband show up at the door with their focus on the family, like absolute nonsense, like ooh, like my skin crawls in the perfect way for horror. Like it is my hat is off to you in a way that like that is so deeply affecting in a way that is just absolutely powerful. But like the biggest star that I want to give you is um in my like when we got the High Dionysian monologuing, um you allowed me to kind of break in and then say, I figured out your motivation, and I saw you hear what I my idea was and like roll with it in a way that was incredible. Like it felt again like you are such a good encapsulation of how a GM's job is to make um, their players feel held and safe and as and encouraged, and you did that in a way that like touched my soul and made me feel like I all right, I'm only going to make this a little bit weird, but it felt very much like like there was this implicit praise of running with the suggestion, running with the like, oh, I know your motivation, here's what I could think I figured out what you're trying to do, and then you rolling with it just like made it feel like, oh, well done, Kyle, you did a very good job coming up with something good and bringing it to the table and sharing it with everyone. Very good girl. And goddamn, if that's not like the best way to GM a table, like holy shit, it's great. Thank you. Like, um, and then for everyone, just absolutely unhinged in chat today, folks. Completely unhinged. In one of the most enjoyable things is not only having everyone's really great drama on the screen and then looking in the chat, everyone's talking shit and making jokes. It's great. My wish is to I I am so excited to continue building the themes of family with everyone here.
Mhm.
We're all desperately broken a little bit in regards to like our parents and each other, so like all of us. And I can't wait to get everyone back in the same like location again to just kind of like maybe not even talk. Maybe just everyone has 1,000 yard stare and a cigarette they keep forgetting to ash that is burning down. As everyone is just like, so I did the thing at this place. Oh yeah, we met the skeletons. Okay.
Literally, you just again remind me of Reservoir Dogs, where they're all like piling into the warehouse, and like one of them's got a gut shot, like
Yeah.
one of them's torturing a cop. Like, yes, that's very much like
Mhm.
when you like all of us just like, help.
Jeez. But yeah, that's me.
Yeah, definitely. Just God, the verses, they keep on like just feeding me and just being like, oh, just like the sort of like there is like this sort of game of playing with like, oh yeah, Zephyr and Trinity are really building out what their faiths are in terms of like presentation of just like there is yeah, playing chicken with the keeper, effectively, of just like this very, very conservative family that will do anything to like make their farm prosperous. And like I keep on thinking of like okay, you got this farm thing. Like why Zeph is the oldest sibling, I imagine. So why did she get married off to the dear husband? And it's like, oh yeah, it's a prosperity sort of gospel. It's sort of like you must marry your daughters off. So like I was just like, okay, how can what would the people of that religion look like? And I'm just like, it's gotta be Mormons. They are like that. They are super like that, and it's just like so yeah.
Yeah,
So I
plus
just
one can confirm absolutely.
yeah. So yeah, it's very interesting to like see like oh yeah, and then therefore the next in line, Trinity, gets to sacrifice the younger sibling, sort of like in the same gospel lens of like the idea of like sacrificing the young so that the old will survive is just very symbolic in the biblical sense, and I'm just like eating it up. And then on the other hand, Piper, you said some very interesting details that these last few sessions. I'm just like, oh yeah, Piper used to look older in these flashbacks, and I'm like, why is that, Piper? What does that mean, Piper? And I have my theories because like I know, like the theory is working theory for Seth is that Piper's daughter is estranged. I don't think that. I think it's much worse. That's what I will keep it at currently. I'm but I'm looking forward to like seeing how that is. Uh Also just fucking your way through the assignment. It's it's very good. Really looking forward to like you guys trying to tackle the Boward companion because you ignored that this session properly. So we'll see what sort of consequences are that. Also, unlocking layer 2 of the conspiracy. Yay. I get new reactions, which is very fun.
We're so good at this game.
Hmm.
We're winning.
Yeah,
So
you're
having
winning.
3 conditions for 2 sessions in a row is winning, right? That's how you win.
Hmm.
Yeah, of course.
I got this.
Yeah. Yeah. Also looking forward to for folks for clearing conditions and me handing out more, seeing like how you get changed by things. Also, I'm very, very excited for Zeph having more moves available effectively. Um, just just gonna have your husband show up to help solve your problems. After all, he can wear people's skins, and that's okay.
Just a little bit of skin as a treat.
Mm-hmm.
As a treat.
As in treats. But any other stars or wishes? All right. Bye-bye.